All right, so today I want to kind of cover a little bit about using BrightMLS, some tips that I use. I've been using it for over 20 years as it's evolved from, it used to be called Trend and now switched to Bright. So I just want to kind of show a bunch of the different shortcuts that I personally use. I do recommend everybody go to the Bright YouTube channel and learn how to search every video for buyers specifically first, then all the listing videos as well, just so you get the hang of it. And this software is ever changing. So there's a lot of changes that will evolve and change to make things quicker for realtors. So always keep up on that YouTube channel. So first things first, let me share my screen with you. All right. So this is the general search tab. When you come in, land in Bright, you hit residential search. This is where you land. A couple quick tips. If somebody sends you an address and you cannot find it, I always recommend searching public records and the address, street name, just the beginning of the street name. I'll do my own house here. One Chestnut. And if I do court, it has no addresses. So CT is going to have one match, right? So, and I search by county too, depending on where you're looking. I'm going to show you the defaults in a second, but here you're going to see there's a property. That's the property, and that's it. Another quick tip, when using Bright, you're allowed to open multiple tabs. So you right click here, open a new tab, and you can search, have a tax record open on one screen, and then, be comping out the property on another, doing regular searches. So another shortcut. First things first, I want to I always set everybody up in my office with the defaults that I use, which are the counties we serve. So actually, Gloucester, Burlington, and Salem. So another thing I always do, I want to see, because if somebody sends you 123 Main Street, you want to search it real quick in the counties that you're servicing. You don't know the status. If it could be pending, you want to check pending, but I don't leave that as a default. I only want active and coming soon and active under contract. And most of the properties are all 2+ bedrooms. So that's what I put there. And that's it. Now, what you can do, so you don't always have to open the screen up and pick counties and towns and all that, you can just hit save. This is now how it'll open up. If I hit search, residential sale, it's going to have those defaults set up. So that'll save you time every time you're opening the software up, so that you don't have to type where you're searching for a home. However, if you're looking in, let's say, Philadelphia or above Burlington County, below Salem County, Cumberland County, you do have to add the counties there. Now, next, very, very important. I talk to a lot of realtors about this search function because it's super important to me. As a buyer, you are looking at townships. However, they're not all the same. Okay, so Sewell, New Jersey, if I search this, I'm going to show you real quick what not to do. If somebody says, I want to live in Washington Township or Sewell, it's actually two towns. So this is Mantua, and that's under MLS area. That's who they pay taxes to. And then as you go down, Washington Township is also Sewell. So if somebody tells you they want to live in either of those, and you just do the zip code or the postal city of Sewell, you're going to look bad as a realtor, because that consumer is going to say, hey, I don't want any house in Mantua. I want to live in Washington Township, or vice versa. And just so you understand, postal cities are exactly that. It's the post office's way of dividing out the zip code so that they can drop the mail off. It has nothing to do with who they're paying taxes to. So the best thing to do when talking to a consumer that wants to buy a home is to come in here. Let's say they were just looking in Gloucester County. I would then be on the phone with them and say, okay, again, I'm going to show you this little button, shows you every county you can pick. And then once you have the counties they're open to, you're going to click on that button there. And I literally read through the townships to every consumer. I say, hey, Clayton, yes or no? Deptford, yes or no? East Greenwich, Elk, all the way down the chain. Let's say they only wanted Pittman, where my office is. Cool. Okay. Now Pittman has 17 matches instead of 600 matches that are in the whole county. And let them tell you, what towns, what school systems, all that stuff. Just be careful because school systems, if you wanted to search by school district, it gets pretty broad. And unfortunately, this is not a mandatory field to be filled out. It may be correct, it may not be correct. Some districts you can buy into now. For instance, I happen to live in Glassboro, and now I can send my kids to Pittman for a very small fee annually. So just because people tell me they want to go to Pittman schools doesn't mean they have to live there, right? And you should know that as a realtor. So I don't really recommend doing school district, postal city, zip code. Erase them from your searches. Neighborhoods you can search by. They're a mandatory field. However, understand if a realtor is from out of the area and they don't know the neighborhood that the house is in and it's not in a tax record, it could be incorrect or it could say none. Okay. There's a none option for every county. So just understand that. Next, a couple other tips. I always have this checked off so I can search certain things. I don't have to use all the zeros. It's a faster way to get in and out. Bedrooms, you can do something like this, 2+ or 2 to 4 bedrooms. That's all they want, right? Whatever you want there. Next, I don't really go into this stuff. I don't need to be that detailed. And again, if it's not a mandatory field, then the realtor is not going to pick it up, right? Or check it off in the back end of the listing. If you watch a listing input video, you'll see what I mean. But in general, a couple things that are standard for my searches are, is it single, detached, or not, right? So detached means it's a detached building. It's not attached to anything. It's not a townhome, condo, anything else. And so, however, if they are only open to condos and townhomes, I would hit detached and make it not detached, right? So Pittman only has one right now. So let's go to detached. And then a couple key things when buyers give you a bunch of parameters, that's great. However, you're not going to check off things like fenced yard and, full basements and all that stuff. You're just going to try to limit it out to what give them the most options because especially at the beginning of a buyer search, they're really not 100% on what they want until they start seeing some property and somebody says, well, I'll do a 3-bedroom or I need a 3-bedroom. But if you say, hey, it's a 2-bedroom, but it's got a basement. Oh, we can do that. Right. So you want to give them you want them to see everything and say no to things rather than not see a listing, find it on a third-party website like a Zillow, realtor.com or anything like that. And then get mad at you because you didn't send it to them. All right. So basement, yes or no, that'll shrink the listing count. Let's say, I'm going to put Washington Township in here. So let's say we didn't want to sift through 35 listings. Well, what else would you like, right? Number one, we're not going to be in a senior community. We don't want any of those. And then it has to have central air, right? Or it has to have a garage of 1 bedroom, 1 car or more. Problem with this, again, understand what you're checking off here. 1+ means 1 or more. If you there's no way to say at least 1 except using the plus symbol, right? So always understand it's a computer. So you have to search the way a computer thinks. Square footage, I don't recommend. It can be wrong. If I was looking in these towns, like I'm already down to 10 houses for 2 towns between 2 and 500,000, let the buyer search through it or search through it yourself, right? You're going to come in here one by one. This is where you figure out the view you want, right? You can do one line where the different towns. You can just click on it, show it, take a look through it, all that stuff, right? And then thumbnail. Another tip that I just showed somebody last week was instead of scrolling through each photo, right, you can just click this. and it'll open up a new screen. And you can just look down through a listing. You don't have to click every photo or don't click on the whole listing and then, hit play or anything. You don't have to do all that. So just hit that button right there. When it comes to public records, you're going to be able to do the same thing. Public records is for if you're searching for reverse searches, your past clients or your database, you want to find out their home addresses. Search here. Again, if you know what street they are, if you know their address, right? I'm going to search myself. RCOM, and I know I live in Gloucester County, right? So there's 12, not related to me. But now you see them all, right? So depending on where they were or where they are, now you can look at each one, figure out which one you're trying to get information on. Or if a homeowner tells you, I want to sell a home, my house is at this one, let's say 643 Green or 38 Curtis, right? Now you see the owner name and you can go on from there. Now that's all public data, but now you have a starting point and maybe an old listing to look at, the tax information. Again, this is all public information, so it's easy to look at. And that's about it. Let's go back to here. So that's using Bright the way I use it. Nice, easy, the fastest way I can use it. I've figured out over the years. So hopefully that helps. And those tips are good for you. All right. Reach out if I can ever help. See you.